All right, so you're getting ready for an extract mixer tester interview. That's awesome. We've got all your RoleCatcher intel right here. Career guides, sample interview questions, even their AI tools. We're going to break it all down so you can walk into that interview feeling totally confident.
Yeah, it's really interesting. This role is a blend of science and hands-on skill. You're not just mixing things randomly, you're ensuring the quality and consistency of spice blends, using specific techniques and equipment.
So it's like being a culinary detective, making sure those flavors are spot on every time.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's career guides highlight that this blend of skills makes for a really engaging job. Let's dive into some common interview questions to give you a head start. One you'll likely encounter is, describe your experience working with different types of extracts.
Okay, so it's not enough to just list off every extract you've ever encountered, right?
Right. They're looking for problem-solving skills. Have you worked with extracts that have unique properties or require special handling? This is your chance to showcase your adaptability and how you approach challenges.
So if I had experience with an extract that needed a very precise temperature during mixing, that would be a good thing to highlight.
Absolutely. Talk about how you ensured that temperature was maintained and what challenges you overcame. They might even follow up with, what were some challenges you faced working with specific extract? Or, how did you ensure consistency when using different extracts?
That's a great tip. It's like thinking a step ahead in the conversation. Now, what about this one? How do you ensure the extracts you test meet quality standards?
This is where you demonstrate your meticulous side. Interviewers want to see your process and attention to detail. They want to know you're not just mixing and hoping for the best.
So should I talk about specific tools or methods I use, like color matching or taste tests?
Yes. Describe the steps you take. Maybe even mentioning specific equipment like spectrophotometers if you've used them. And be ready for follow-ups like, what tools do you use to test extracts? Or what do you do if an extract doesn't meet standards?
This is where RoleCatcher's AI feedback can be a game changer, right? It's like having a personal coach analyze your answers.
Precisely. You can practice your answers and get specific feedback tailored to the extract mixer tester role. The AI can pinpoint areas to make your answer stronger, clearer, and more impactful.
And their video practice feature is great for seeing how you come across, which can be super helpful for interview prep. Now on to this question. Tell me about a time you had to troubleshoot an issue with an extraction process. This feels a bit more situational.
This is where the STAR method shines. Describe the situation, the task, the action you took, and the result.
So I should pick an example that shows off my problem-solving skills and technical knowledge, right?
Exactly. Let's say a mechanical sifter malfunctioned or an extract batch had an unexpected color variation. How did you identify the problem? What steps did you take, and what was the outcome? Be prepared for questions like, what resources did you use to solve the problem? Or how did you communicate the issue?
That's really helpful for framing my own experiences. Okay, this next question feels crucial. How do you ensure you follow safety protocols when working with extracts?
Safety is paramount in this role, and interviewers need to see you take it seriously. This is about demonstrating a thorough understanding of protocols.
So I should mention things like personal protective equipment, proper ventilation, and waste disposal procedures.
Absolutely. Be specific. Don't just say, I follow safety protocols. Give concrete examples like, I always wear nitrile gloves and a respirator mask when handling specific extract due to its potential irritants.
That makes sense. They want to hear those real-world applications. What if they ask, what would you do if you noticed a colleague not following safety protocols?
That's a great opportunity to showcase your commitment to safety. Explain that you'd politely remind them of the protocols and the reasons behind them. You could even mention that you'd escalate the issue to a supervisor if necessary, emphasizing your responsibility to maintain a safe work environment.
It's interesting how these questions can reveal so much about your work ethic and approach.
Exactly. It's about showing them you're not just ticking boxes, but genuinely understand the importance of safety and quality. Now let's move on to another common question you might encounter. Can you describe your experience working with the laboratory equipment?
Okay. So they're looking for more than just knowing what a mechanical sister is. They want to see I can actually use it and other relevant equipment.
Precisely. Have you calibrated equipment, performed maintenance? Can you explain the principles behind how these tools work? The more detail you provide, the better.
For example, I could talk about how I used a refractometer to measure the bricks of a sugar solution in a previous role. That shows I understand the tool and its application.
Exactly. And remember, even if your experience isn't directly related to extracts, highlight transferable skills. If you've worked in a lab setting, even if it wasn't food-related, mention it. It demonstrates adaptability and a willingness to learn.
So if I worked in a chemistry lab analyzing soil samples, that experience with precision measurement and lab procedures could still be relevant.
Absolutely. It's about connecting the dots for the interviewer. Show them how your past experiences, even in different fields, have equipped you with the skills needed for this role.
All right, let's tackle this one. Can you describe your experience working with flavor and fragrance ingredients? This seems like it goes beyond just the technical aspects.
You're right. It taps into your sensory awareness and your understanding of how ingredients interact. Interviewers want to see that you're not just following a recipe blindly, but that you have an appreciation for the nuances of flavor and fragrance.
So if I've experimented with creating my own spice blends at home, that could be relevant even if it wasn't in a professional setting.
Absolutely. Share examples where you adjusted ingredient amounts to achieve a specific flavor profile. Or notice how an aroma changed during blending. It demonstrates a genuine interest in the sensory side of this work.
I see. They want to see that passion come through. What about this question? Can you explain the process of creating an extract from a flavor or fragrance ingredient?
This is a knowledge test. They want to gauge your understanding of the core principles behind extraction. Be prepared to discuss different methods like distillation, percolation, or maceration. Don't get too bogged down in technical jargon, but demonstrate a solid grasp of the fundamentals.
Okay, time to brush up on those extraction methods. I remember RoleCatcher had some resources on that, right?
Yes, their guides are a fantastic resource for this. They break down those processes in a clear and understandable way, helping you prepare for this type of question.
Perfect. I'll definitely be reviewing those. What about this one? Can you describe your experience working with food and beverage products?
If you've got direct experience in the food or beverage industry, this is your time to shine.
But what if my experience isn't directly related to extracts? Say if I worked in a bakery or a restaurant kitchen.
Those are still valuable. Highlight any transferable skills. Working in a bakery demonstrates an understanding of ingredients, precision, and quality control. Restaurant experience showcases teamwork, adaptability, and working under pressure.
So it's all about framing those experiences in a way that connects to the extract mixer tester role.
Precisely. And remember, even if you don't have direct industry experience, your enthusiasm for food and flavor can shine through. Think about what excites you about this field and let that passion show in your answers.
Okay, so we've covered quite a few questions here. Is there anything else we could keep in mind as we get ready for this interview?
Well, remember that RoleCatcher offers tools beyond just practice questions. Their AI can help tailor your answers to the specific company and role you're applying for. It can also provide feedback on your resume and cover letter, making sure your application materials are top-notch.
That's great. It's like having a personalized career assistant guiding you through every step of the process.
Exactly. And let's not forget the human element. If you know anyone working in the food industry, reach out to them. They might have valuable insights or advice specific to this field.
Great point. Networking can be so valuable. So we've covered a lot about the interview itself, but I'm curious to learn more about the career path of an extract mixer tester. What are the growth opportunities in this field?
That's a great question. RoleCatcher's career guides provide some fantastic insights into that. You could start as an assistant extract mixer tester, gaining hands-on experience and learning the ropes. From there, you could progress to a lead extract mixer tester, overseeing a team and managing projects.
That sounds like a natural progression. What about branching out into other areas?
Absolutely. With experience and additional training, you could move into roles like quality control specialist, flavor development technician, or even production supervisor. Some people even transition into research and development, working on creating new and innovative extracts.
So there's real potential for growth and specialization within this field.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI tools can be incredibly helpful for exploring those options. Their Career Compass feature allows you to input your skills and interests, and it suggests potential career paths and the steps you need to take to get there.
That's amazing. It's like having a personalized roadmap for your career.
Now let's touch on another important aspect of interview preparation, addressing those competency-based questions. These are designed to assess your core skills like problem solving, communication, and teamwork, using examples from your experiences.
I've heard these can be tricky because they're less about specific knowledge and more about how you've handled situations in the past.
You're right. It's about showcasing your transferable skills. Let's say the interviewer asks, "Tell me about a time you had to work under pressure." Instead of just saying, "I work well under pressure," you'd want to give a specific example. Perhaps you had to meet a tight deadline for a project. or handle a sudden equipment malfunction during a busy shift.
So I'd use the STAR method to describe the situation, the task, the action I took, and the result.
Exactly. And make sure your example highlights the competency they're asking about. In this case, it would be your ability to stay calm, prioritize tasks, and effectively solve problems under pressure.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about painting a clear picture for them with a real-world example.
Now, another competency they often assess in these roles is attention to detail. They might ask something like, tell me about a time you had to pay close attention to detail to complete a task successfully.
I imagine for an extract mixer tester, this competency is super important.
Absolutely. You're dealing with precise measurements, specific ingredients, and ensuring consistency across batches. Any oversight could impact the final product.
So for this question, I could talk about a time I had to meticulously follow a recipe, perhaps with many steps or complex measurements, to achieve the desired outcome.
Perfect. Or you could describe a time you had to carefully calibrate equipment, or double-check data entries to avoid errors. The key is to demonstrate that you understand the importance of accuracy and have a proven track record of working meticulously.
This is making me realize how much my past experiences, even those seemingly unrelated to this specific role, can be relevant if I frame them correctly.
Yeah, that's a great point. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI tools can be incredibly helpful. Their AI can analyze your past experiences and suggest ways to connect them to the specific competencies required for the extract mixer tester role. It can help you see those connections you might not have realized on your own.
That's fantastic. It takes some of the guesswork out of tailoring my answers.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the bigger picture, the world of extracts and flavor creation. What intrigues you about this field?
I've always been fascinated by the idea that you can capture the essence of a flavor or fragrance and use it to create something entirely new. It's like being a culinary artist.
I love that analogy. And it's a field that's constantly evolving. New extraction techniques are being developed, consumer preferences are changing, and there's a growing demand for natural and sustainable ingredients. It's a dynamic and exciting industry to be a part of.
That's what appeals to me, the constant learning and innovation. It seems like a perfect fit for someone who loves to explore and experiment.
Exactly. And those are qualities you'll want to showcase in your interview. Let your enthusiasm for the field shine through. Talk about what excites you about working with extracts, what you're eager to learn, and how you see yourself contributing to the industry.
So beyond just answering the questions correctly, it's also about showing them who I am and why I'm passionate about this work.
You've got it. And remember, it's a two-way street. The interview is also an opportunity for you to assess whether this company and role are the right fit for you. Don't be afraid to ask questions that will help you make an informed decision.
That's a good reminder. I often get so caught up in trying to impress them that I forget to gather information for myself.
It's a common mistake. But remember, you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of technical aspects of the interview, but what about the more personal side? How do I make a good impression and come across as confident and capable?
That's a great question, and one that shows you're thinking beyond just the immediate role. One of the biggest trends is the increasing demand for natural and clean label extracts. Consumers are more aware of what's in their food and are seeking out products with ingredients they recognize and trust.
That makes sense. I've definitely noticed that trend myself when I'm grocery shopping.
Exactly. So for an extract mixer tester, this means being knowledgeable about different extraction methods, including those that use natural solvents or avoid harsh chemicals.
So knowing about things like cold pressing or supercritical fluid extraction could be beneficial.
Absolutely. It shows you're aware of the industry's shift towards cleaner and more sustainable practices.
What about challenges? Are there any hurdles facing the industry right now?
One challenge is the sourcing of high-quality raw materials. Climate change, political instability, and supply chain disruptions can all impact the availability and cost of ingredients.
So an extract mixer tester might need to be adaptable and knowledgeable about sourcing options to ensure consistent production.
Exactly. They might need to work with different suppliers, adjust recipes, or even explore alternative ingredients to maintain quality standards.
It sounds like this role requires a blend of technical skills, problem-solving abilities, and a good understanding of the broader industry landscape.
You've got it. And those are all qualities you can highlight during your interview. Now, before we wrap up, let's touch on one more thing that can give you a real advantage: using RoleCatcher's AI tools to tailor your answers.
Yes, we've talked about the practice questions and feedback, but I'm curious to learn more about how their AI can help me specifically for this role.
Their AI can analyze the job description for the extract mixer tester role you're applying for and identify the key skills and keywords that the hiring manager is looking for.
Wow, so it's like it's reading the hiring manager's mind.
In a way, yes. Then it can suggest ways to incorporate those keywords into your answers, making sure you're hitting all the right points and highlighting the most relevant aspects of your experience.
That's incredibly helpful. It takes the guesswork out of tailoring my responses to the specific company and position.
Exactly. It's like having a personalized guide helping you craft the most impactful and compelling answers.
Right. I think we've covered a lot of ground today, from dissecting those tricky interview questions to understanding the industry trends and leveraging RoleCatcher's AI tools. I feel much more prepared for my extract mixer tester interview.
That's fantastic to hear. And remember, beyond the preparation, it's your passion and enthusiasm that will truly shine through. Let your love for the world of flavors and your eagerness to learn drive you forward.
That's a great reminder. I'm excited to showcase my skills and hopefully embark on a rewarding career in this field.
And we're excited for you. Remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way. Don't hesitate to utilize their resources and tap into their expertise.
To all our listeners out there prepping for their extract mixer tester interview, best of luck. Remember, you've got this.
Go out there and show them what you've got. We're confident you'll make a delicious impression.